Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Primal Chaos here, and I'm going to do something way out of the box this time. You all know I started this channel to explore a few genres of music that I wasn't super comfortable with prior, and that was, you know, extreme vocals, things with a lot of raw and a lot of yow sort of stuff. Since then, you know, you guys have introduced me to so many great bands and so many great artists, but I'm going to do something really different today, and this may not be to everyone's tastes. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a different playlist and put this on it, because I'm going to keep all of the metal reactions and separately, and I'm going to keep my reviews separately. Now, this is a pop song and it's a pop artist, right? But if we're going to fall down the rabbit hole of extreme vocals, this is someone who's been recommended to me several times. And to be fair, I have seen a performance of this guy once before that was shown to me as a, you got to see this, it's insane, right? And look, even if this isn't your style of music, and even if the concept of listening to a pop track offends you, okay, I'm gonna rephrase that. This guy does covers of pop songs, but in this case, it's actually the Queen's "The Show Must Go On," which is arguably one of my personal favorite songs from them. And it's not really, you shouldn't really call them pop. It's a rock song, but it's definitely not metal. And if you're one of those people who likes to box themselves in and will only listen to heavy metal, then maybe this isn't the video for you. But that's why I'm going to put anything I do like this onto a different playlist, right? So if you ever want to watch my stuff, you can go straight to the metal playlist, and that's pretty much all you're going to get. Okay, so you can't talk about extreme vocals without talking about Dimash. I'm not going to try and murder his surname. Actually, maybe I will. Kude Ibergen. The way I understand it is he's Kazakh. And so, you know, he's just one of those guys who exploded onto the scene. He was in I think a Chinese The Voice kind of style show. Again, that's about all I know about Dimash, other than the fact that I've seen one or two of his things that a friend of mine showed me. He goes, check out this guy. Possibly one of the most extreme vocalists on the planet. And that's saying a lot, especially coming from the place of, you know, the stuff I've been reviewing with guys like, you know, Will Ramos and you know, Tatiana from Ginger and things like that. They're extreme vocalists, and they're at the top end of their spectrum. This guy is an extreme vocalist, just fundamentally. Like his vocal range, and again, I'm not a vocal coach, and I'm not going to pretend that I fully understand registers and different ranges and things like that. There's plenty of other reactors on here that can do that for you. But I just wanted to introduce some of you to this if you may not have seen it, because it's if you're sitting there saying, you know, if you're showing bands like Ginger or Lorna Shore or someone to someone, because you're like, you got to hear the craziness of these vocals, then you can't sleep on this. Okay, let's hit it up. I haven't heard this version. I'm expecting to think it to at some point probably pass out from exhaustion. But yeah, check this shit out. Don't bow yet, man. You haven't done anything. Oh, that dude looked like Steve Tyler, like from 50 years ago. Nice. Did they just credit him as Frederick Mercury?
Empty spaces, what are we living for? About these places, a voice knows the school.
Okay, now before we go on, sure, there's some English pronunciation issues there, but let's see how well you can sing a song in Kazakh. All right?
Does anybody know what you're looking for? And not the hero, and not the mind described. We had the curtain in the path to mine. Holds the line. Does anybody want to take it anymore? Show must go on. Show must must go on. Inside my heart is breaking. My makeup may be breaking, but my spine still stays on.
Okay, so we're through the first verse and first chorus. So you can imagine, so far we've seen him sing essentially in two different human voices, right? There's your typical low masculine, middle of the road sort of voice. And then he brings it up to a register that is essentially relatively feminine, but with all of the control in the world and the beautiful breath support and everything to be able to articulate those wonderful vibratos and things like that. But this isn't what it's about. So far we've seen nothing. All right, so stick around.
Whatever happens,
Oh, full voice.
to change, and as it could teach, and as it fed romance, on and on, just anybody know what you're looking for. Question learning.
Some heavy metal.
I must be coming now. Some journey. What's it calling now? All souls down is breaking, but inside things it taking back into me free. Show must go on. Show must go on. Inside my heart is breaking. My makeup baby flagging, but my smile.
Before whatever's going to happen happens, imagine, if you will, that voice juxtaposed over a band like Camelot or, you know, not so much Symphony X because they're a little bit more on the heavy side, but those really dramatic symphonic metal bands, or like as a counter vocal to, you know, in a band like Nightwish. Like you can't extract the female presence out of Nightwish, but let's just say, like, you know, Marco has very similar tones to that when he sings his parts. He's got this belty kind of, it's this weird sort of falsetto tone belt that he does, which is super high and wonderfully powerful. You know, I just like to picture people like this singing with the right bands. You know what I mean? We're going to jump back because obviously we're about to see something.
Flagging, but my smile still stays on.
Nice choice. This dude.
My song is painted, my series of butterflies. Friendly just yesterday, we club on every side. I can fly my life. Show must go on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Show must go on. It wasn't a regret. I am living in again. All this is right.
Come on. That guy gets it.
It's up to the repair.
It's going to crescendo, and I know I should not stop it right there, but you can hear, like, a friend of mine is a Filipino guy, is an amazing vocalist, very similar to this. He can sort of bust out like a really great sort of Disney sound. Red, I know you're watching this. This is for you. But even he was saying, like, you know, there's parts of this guy's voice and you know, his upper notes, and he has a whistle register as well that you'd be familiar with if you know anything about Mariah Carey. But you can hear it's so relaxed up there, right? Most of the time when people are trying to get to a high note, everything tenses up, which is what you're not supposed to do. But it seems like the harder you try not to do it, the harder it is to avoid doing. And you can hear the openness of his high notes. Let's go back and hear those runs again.
I'm living in
if you have any tension or constriction when you're trying to produce a sound like that, you're not going to be able to have those natural vibratos and that control that he has. And, you know, and if you're still thinking this is kind of naff, you think of some of the greatest power metal vocalists in the world, and I guarantee you, they look at this guy with envy, 100%. So free. Come on. Wow. So if you're looking at me right now thinking, yeah, no, I think your hair looks like a perfectly normal color, there's a good chance you're colorblind, like myself. 1 in 6 guys, 1 in 200 women. But thankfully, there's something that can be done about it. If you click the link in the description, it'll take you to Enchroma, where you can get a free eye test and find out what sort of color blindness you have and what sort of corrective lenses might be available to assist you in seeing color like the rest of the world. If you decide to check out one of their awesome frames, they have a 60-day trial. Just use my link and use the code CHAOS in the checkout, and you'll get 10% off. Wow, that was a struggle for some reason. Tell them Primal Chaos sent you. Okay, I've really got to stop doing performances that make me emotional. Man, I mean, to me, look, he's an amazing performer, but that song always manages to get me. It's just one of the greats, especially when you think about when it was written and, you know, Freddie's life at the time and things like that. But let's not talk about Queen right now. Like I said, you know, and this is Dimash at, I believe, roughly 18 years of age. He's a seasoned performer now, right? This was at a talent show, much like The Voice or America's Got Talent or something like that in China. And so he's performing to try to win, right? So he's doing a bunch of stuff. But you know, if you guys happen to like this video a lot, I'll probably do a bit more of a deep dive, do some of his more professional gigs post this era, just to see how he's thinking. Because I believe I have an understanding that he also has an incredible low register as well, which wasn't really obvious in this performance, but man, those high notes. Like I said, if you're a fan of, you know, you guys like Roy Khan and guys like that from, you know, bands like Camelot, power metal bands, Marco from Nightwish and things like that, these guys look at this and go, how does he do it? I want to be able to do that same thing, you know. They would typically probably rub a little bit more distortion on some of those higher belted notes to make it a bit more heavy metal, a bit more rock and roll. But the purity and the relaxation and the freeness of his head voice and beyond is a whole other level, you know? Yeah, but anyway, look, I'm not going to harp on it too much because I'm not a vocal coach. I know the fundamentals of singing, but not much more than that. There's plenty of other places you can go to see that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys because, like I said, this channel is, I mean, as much as it's become about exploring new bands and stuff like that, it began really as a channel, you know, viewed through the prism of vocal performances. So take from that what you will. But, you know, thanks, guys. If that has been interesting and I brightened your day at all, feel free to buy me a coffee. I'll put the link in the description. If not, I'd be stoked if you'd be happy to share, like, and subscribe. Yeah, check out future stuff. Like I said, this is a bit unusual for me. I'm more into like doing like metal performances and things like that. But occasionally there's going to be things that come along that I just can't not do, you know? And so I'm going to put them on a separate playlist. But yeah, thanks for checking in. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.